Alright guys, how's it going? This is going to be a shorter video, real quick, just explaining some stuff for, maybe some new players. I had an idea that, there's probably going to be a lot of people coming to the game or returning to the game, and maybe they are unsure of how to select, a server that's right for them. I know it sounds a little strange, but I'm just going to show you what I mean by that, and maybe show you some options you may not have known were there the first time you played, or maybe this is the first time you're playing. So this is just the main menu here in V-Rising, and now if we can play here, you can see online play. Obviously, if you want to do your own private game, that's pretty self-explanatory. There's a lot of options you can adjust in there. But, we're going to click online play here, and you're immediately greeted by all these different options here, right? Full loot PvP, PvP, PvE, etc., etc. And these are actually, all these really are is just filters for the server list. So you can click these and get, it'll automatically filter your server list. What I like to do is just click the Find Servers button down here and get every single thing by clicking Display All Servers and Settings. Then you can kind of go here and filter everything how you want it. I know this is pretty self-explanatory, but bear with me, you'll see what I mean. Now let's say you're like me and you enjoy playing on PvP servers. You can go to Game Mode, Sort by PvP. If you want Merciless, you can do that. I do Clan Size, I do Any here, and then what I'll do is I'll sort by players. And what this does is it lets you look at the most active PvP servers by clan size, how much space is left and whatnot. This one's right now is using scrambled VBlood settings. And now what you're going to do here is you are going to click on these servers, and if you see one that you find a little interesting, each of these icons means something. So right here, this is scrambled VBlood locations. This is using the Mad Hunt mod, which is really fun. This right here means that, like it says, server has scheduled wipes, which means it wipes the server every so often. This is an official server from V-Rising. You can tell by the little V next to it. That's an official V-Rising server. And then, standard settings, it tells you like, hey, this is just the standard usable settings. And this is if you've played on that server before. I know this seems like, duh, I already know this. But this is what I'm actually going to show you here. Is, for this one specifically, you can go through here on the right-hand side and look through the different types of rule sets they have. So for instance, this one's unique, only one Castle Heart per clan, no teaming. If you team, you can get kicked or warned or whatever. No unstucking in PvP, which is like no exploits, etc. It kind of has all these different things to make sure that the game experience for the PvP player, people don't take advantage of weird things. Also, for instance, on an official server, I can go here and see the raid times. This is a 4-hour window. That's pretty brutal. If you don't have 4 hours to play the video game, then you might not enjoy that. And versus this right here is a custom server somebody made. They're hosting with 50 people, and you can look right here. Raid times are 10 p.m. to 12 p.m. EST every day. So that's a 2-hour window. That might be better for you. You can kind of use that to figure out what works for you. Right here as well, time-gated bosses. What that means is, so there are some people, like myself, who enjoy racing to the finish every single run. This kind of helps you, have a little bit more time to not have to worry about if your progression strategies and gameplay isn't just totally perfect. Like you'll never be able to get to the shards, in time, because there's always going to be somebody else out there who's no-lifing for 8 hours straight, and they're just going to get the shards on day one. So instead of that, these guys allow, they increase the drop rate of loot, stack size, etc. The V-Bloods are a little harder, etc., etc., etc. So you can go through here and you can read all of these different rules. It shows this is also very key for a lot of players. While this doesn't show that there's scheduled wipes, this server does have recent or common wipes. You'd want to go to the Discord right here, their Discord server, to see all the full server settings rules. It'll also show you like, hey, we wipe every 10 days, or actually a lot of these servers will actually vote to wipe. So it'll be like, hey, whenever this game is really exploding and there's tons of people playing, this could be a 10-day wipe cycle. It could be 2 weeks. I've been on servers that were 5 days where they didn't limit, they didn't gate the progression. So it was a 5-day wipe cycle every 5 days, like every single week or every week or every 5 days, etc. They would wipe the server, everyone would start again. So you can tell how long a server's been running by checking the days running. This is IRL days, like real days, not like days in game. It used to show days in game, and people were having a hard time figuring out what 36,000 days in game translated to in real life. Um, so again, this is just one of the examples here. If I go through, I can actually show you some interesting stuff here. Underworld, there's different ones here. Another really good one that is very popular. Now, let's say you want to practice your PvP. That's what you want to do. You're not confident that you can go on these PvP servers. Maybe you're a PvE player who wants to take the step into the PvP world, but you're nervous and apprehensive that you're just going to get dunked on by people who've been playing this game for however long. You're nervous about that. Well, if you head on over to one of my favorite servers here, the Dojo. I've been off and on this place quite a bit. This is an arena/duel server. Excellent mod team, very good custom settings to basically allow you to fight at whatever rank or at whatever level or tier of weapons you want. A lot of ways to just quickly reset your, a lot of commands to quickly reset your HP, etc. So this right here, for sure, awesome server for that kind of thing. Again, there's all different. Right now, there's not a ton of servers that are up. I'm going to show you something here just to give you an idea of how cool some of these servers are. I'm just going to hit continue and show you some of the servers I've played on in the past that I really loved. Eternals, these guys are awesome. Time gated day 5. So they do this. They kind of vote on what they do. If I remember correctly, they vote on how they handle all of that. Again, Dojo, some official servers. Slapfight, I don't know. These guys aren't around anymore, I don't think, but this was an awesome server back in the day. I could probably remove from my history, but great thing. These guys this was a standard. It was like a 2x loot server. They wiped on vote as well, so that's a good one. Slapfight. So Embrace the Suck. This was, if I remember correctly, a very hardcore PvP server. It was, if I remember correctly, it was something like, I think it was time gated, just like you could go through tier 1 and 2 on the first day, but every single boss was 10 levels higher, and as well as being scaled, and so it just was extremely difficult to progress, so it was an interesting game. So that's the kind of settings that you'll see there. Eternals is a good one. A lot of Karen and the boys, great guys. Okay, so Halloween Town. This is one of the coolest servers I've ever played in any game. These guys aren't around anymore, I don't believe. Hopefully they come back for this update. Halloween Town was essentially, what they would do is they would host events like you see here, events, races, and prizes. Every like 15 minutes or so, they would do stuff like trivia, where they would ask you trivia for Halloween-themed movies and like cinema. You're like, oh, who's the antagonist for the Halloween movies, etc., or for the Saw movies, who's the antagonist? And whoever answered first would win a little prize. They would do stuff like they would say, hey, first come, first serve in duels. So they would say, first people to say me in chat, first 2 people would get teleported to a castle up in, I believe it was Cursed Forest. And they would then duel at whatever they had in their inventory came with them, whatever level they were, that's what level they were. And whoever won got whatever was in the other guy's inventory as well as like a prize. So they would say stuff like, hey, don't bring what you're not willing to lose. However, first come, first serve. And so you would be able to basically just get teleported up and have this crazy 1v1 in the middle of your progression. And it could either end in tragedy because, you had a full inventory, or it could end in just like an amazing thing where all of a sudden maybe you were in tier 1 or tier 2 and boom, now they gave you the General Soul Reaper blueprint or something and now you're ready to get out of tier 2. Now, I will also say this. There's some great ones here. I love Eternals. I love Devil's Advocate back in the day. Or I love Devil's Advocate. Bloodthirst is really good. This is a really active one. But I will say this. Be careful which servers you go on. Really make sure you're paying attention to the rules on a lot of these, where you read these rules. Do they have a Discord server? Do they tell you when they're planning on wiping? What are the rules? And the reason being is I have been on some awesome servers and I've been on some absolutely terrible garbage servers. I think I actually got rid of them off of my list because they were so bad, but if I saw them, I would remember. When I say terrible, the problem with non-official servers, so official servers are just official. They don't have any kind of special settings other than maybe some scheduled wipes, which they'll tell you about. You click here, you can see days until wipe, 10 IRL days. But the unofficial servers, some of the ones that I've had, like some of the most fun in this game I've ever had, like easily the best servers I've ever played on. I've also had extremely terrible experiences where the owners of the server were kind of power tripping, where let's say you beat them in a PvP situation where they were maybe higher level than you because, I wonder how they got that, right? Like the game, the server been up for a few hours and they're like somehow way higher than everybody else. I'm sure they didn't spawn any items in, right? Well, of course they did. And then they come and fight you, beat them anyway, and then they get mad. I've also had experience, they get mad and like dot kill you kind of thing or whatever. I've also had situations where um, people have uh, wiped randomly. Where like I was racing with my duo partner. We got to the shards, and whenever the people found out, wait a minute, we thought we were going to get the shards first because we were going fast, but these guys got the shards. They immediately wiped the server, no warning. So we come back and we're like, wait, why can't I log in? I've been spending all this time on this server. And it turns out it's because they didn't want to deal with it. I've had stuff where it was like, hey, we wanted to do a duo server, but now we want to do a quad server. So they wiped after 2 days, etc., etc., etc. They don't tell you exactly what's going on. So that can be really annoying. Make sure you check the rules on these, on each of these, different, this is old, each of these different servers. So that's definitely what you want to do. Oh, and last small bit of info is if you go to the subreddit for V-Rising, after the update, I would imagine they're going to put back the new server mega thread, which is a really great place to find all kinds of posts and servers that might fit the kind of server you're looking for. So make sure you're checking that often. A lot of times they'll have server announcements there too, so they'll say like, hey, FYI, we're having a server launch this Friday at 6 p.m. local time or whatever time it may be, like Eastern, West Coast, whatever time it is. And they'll tell you like, hey, we're having a server launch at this exact time. So if you want that fresh wipe experience, really pay attention to that mega thread and find a server that's going to fit your schedule when it's going to wipe and be there on day 1, hour 1, minute 1, ready to go, ready to crush people with your progression strats. So anyways, that is it for now. Hopefully that helped you guys kind of figure out, make some plans, or you can decide for yourself beforehand what you're going to plan on doing, what kind of servers you're going to look for. Good stuff. Thanks for watching. See you in Gloomrot, and we will catch you in the next one.